This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. EU companies may be able to work around Russia's demand to receive gas payments in rubles without breaching sanctions if they pay in euros or dollars, which are then converted into the Russian currency, the European Commission said on Friday. The companies would also need to seek additional conditions on the transactions, such as a statement that they consider their contractual obligations complete once they have deposited the non-Russian currencies. Moscow has warned Europe it risks having gas supplies cut unless it pays in rubles. In March it issued a decree proposing that energy buyers open accounts at Gazprombank to make payments in euros or dollars, which would then be converted to rubles.
Oil slipped on Friday, posting a weekly loss of nearly 5%, on the prospect of weaker global growth, higher interest rates and COVID-19 lockdowns in China hurting demand even as the European Union considers a ban on Russian oil that would tighten supply. Brent crude settled down $1.68, or 1.6%, at $106.65 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude declined $1.72, or 1.7%, to $102.07. Global benchmark Brent hit $139 a barrel last month, its highest price since 2008. But both oil benchmarks declined nearly 5% this week on demand concerns.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Climate change campaigners held a wave of protests for Earth Day on Friday, pushing demands such as an immediate halt to European imports of Russian oil and gas, and an end to building fossil fuel infrastructure. In Europe, activists in Berlin, Warsaw, Brussels and elsewhere targeted German government or embassy buildings. Germany is one of the European Union countries opposed to an embargo on Russian oil and gas, in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, for fear of damage to their economy. Around 50 activists outside Germany's representation to the European Union in Brussels chanted, "Be brave like Ukraine," as some lay on the floor pretending to be dead, wrapped in Ukraine flags and clothes painted to look bloodied.
The Russia-Kazakh-Caspian Pipeline Consortium (CPC) will resume full exports from April 22 after almost 30 days of disruptions following repairs on one of its key loading facilities, Single Port Mooring 3, SPM3, three sources familiar with the port loading plan told Reuters on Friday. The CPC terminal has been relying on just one of its three single port mooring, SPM, facilities for loading since the end of March, when storms in the Black Sea damaged the loading facilities. The damage cut oil exports via CPC pipelines by a third and hit Kazakhstan's oil production.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
Copper hit a one-month low and most other industrial metals stumbled on Friday on concern that rapid monetary tightening and Chinese COVID lockdowns will depress economic growth and metals demand. Benchmark 3-month copper on the London Metal Exchange, LME, slid 1.8% to $10,097 a ton by 16:20 GMT, the weakest since March 17, and was set for a third weekly decline. We have multiple factors weighing on copper and the other metals, particularly from the macro side, such as increasing worries about a potential recession in the United States, said Wenyu Yao, senior commodities strategist Bank.
Global crude steel production fell 5.8% in March from a year earlier to 161 million tons, World Steel Association data showed on Friday. Crude steel output from China, the world's top producer and consumer of the metal, dropped 6.4% to 88.3 million tons in March, the data showed. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. Indonesia, the world's top palm oil producer, announced plans to ban exports of the most widely used vegetable oil on Friday, in a shock move that could further inflame surging global food inflation. The halting of shipments of the cooking oil and its raw material, widely used in products ranging from cakes to cosmetics, could raise costs for packaged food producers globally and force governments to choose between using vegetable oils in food or for biofuel. Indonesia counts for more than half of global palm oil supply. In a video broadcast, Indonesia's President Joko Widodo said he wanted to ensure the availability of food products at home, after global food inflation soared to a record high following Russia's invasion of major crop producer Ukraine.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.